Hey everyone! So if you've ever opened up the Arduino software for the very first time, you know you're greeted by a few lines of code that, well, they can look a little scary. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and make sense of it all. Let's get into it. This right here, this is it. This is the starting block for every single Arduino project. They call them sketches, by the way. It's pretty much the blank canvas for whatever you want to build. But you know, before you can start painting, you got to understand the canvas itself. So, this is the big question, right? What does this all mean and why is it here every single time? By the end of this quick explainer, not only will this make perfect sense, but you'll also get the basic rules for writing pretty much any Arduino program. Okay, the first thing you'll notice is that the code is basically split into two different sections. Think of them as two main jobs that your Arduino needs to do. You've got setup and you've got loop. So, what's the deal with these two? Well, here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're throwing a party. The setup function, that's all the prep work you do before the party starts. You know, setting up the music, putting out the food, arranging the furniture. You only do all that stuff once. Then you have the loop function. That's the party itself. It's the main event that just keeps on going and going and going. People are chatting, music's playing. It just repeats over and over until you decide the party's over and pull the plug. All right, so we get the two main parts. Now, let's look at the symbols that actually give the code its shape. This is like the basic grammar, the punctuation you need to know to speak the Arduino's language correctly. These curly brackets are super important. The opening one, curly bracket, is like telling the Arduino, hey, listen up, the instructions for this job start right now. And the closing one, closing curly bracket, says, okay, that's the end of the list. Every single function needs these walls. And for every opening bracket you absolutely have to have a matching closing one. Okay. So we've got the main blocks and the walls that hold them together. Now let's dig into the essential rules of the road that make the code actually, well, work. Your Arduino is a very orderly, very literal little worker. It just follows your instructions one by one, from top to bottom. So when you power it on, first it jumps into setup and runs every single line of code in there one time. When it's done with that, it hops down into the loop function. It runs every line inside loop, and as soon as it hits the bottom, whoosh, it zips right back to the top of loop and does it all over again, and again, forever. Now here is a rule that trips up almost every single beginner, so listen close. Programming is case sensitive. What that means is, to the Arduino, a lowercase v and an uppercase v are two completely different letters. So commands like void, setup, and loop, they have to be typed in all lowercase, exactly like this. And you know what's really cool? The Arduino software actually tries to help you with this. When you type a command it recognizes, like the void on the left, you see how it changes color? But if you make a mistake, like capitalizing that V, notice how it just stays black? That color change is your first little hint from the software saying, hey, you got it right, or uh-oh, you might want to double check. You see those two little forward slashes? Anything you type on a line after those slashes is called a comment. The Arduino is programmed to completely 100% ignore it. This part is just for us humans. It's how you leave notes for yourself or for someone else to explain what your code is supposed to be doing. It's incredibly useful. Okay, this tiny little symbol is probably one of the most important pieces of punctuation in all of programming, the semicolon. It's just like a period at the end of a sentence. It tells the Arduino, okay, this specific command is finished, you can move on to the next one. And trust me, forgetting it is the most common mistake you'll make. But don't worry, the software is usually pretty good at telling you when you've missed. This line shows it perfectly. Now, don't worry about what pin mode or output means just yet. Just look at the very end of the line. See that semicolon? That's the full stop. That's what tells your Arduino that this command is complete. Almost every single instruction you write will need one. So, let's do a super quick recap. Every program has two main parts: setup for the one-time stuff, and loop for the stuff that repeats. We use those curly brackets to group the code for each part. The code runs from top to bottom, one line at a time. The commands are case-sensitive, spelling matters. We use double slashes to leave notes for ourselves, and, the big one, we end every single command with a semicolon. So now, let's look back at where we started. This should feel a whole lot less intimidating now, right? You can see the setup function, you can see its curly bracket walls, you see the helpful little comment inside. And then there's the loop function right below it, just waiting for your commands. You can actually read this now. You understand the basic language of Arduino. So there you have it. You've just learned the fundamental structure, the skeleton, that powers everything from a simple blinking light all the way up to really complex robots. You've got the foundation, so the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build with it?